Welcome, and thanks for joining us for another season of Scope. In early April, the township of Oro Province was a buzz of activity. On Thursday the 7th, Prime Minister James Marape arrived in Oro to launch two impact projects, the province's town electrification project, the Divune Hydro Project, and the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the new Oro Provincial Administration Office Complex. Located between the villages of Waju and Havaki, the 85 million kina Asian Development Bank funded partnership hydropower plant aims to increase the availability of reliable and sustainable power supply at reasonable cost to the rapidly growing population and infrastructure in the province. The township of Oro Province came out in traditional grandeur with their Governor Gary Jufa on Thursday, 7th April 2022 to welcome the Prime Minister for the launch of two impact projects in the province, the construction of the new Oro Provincial Administration Office Complex and the commissioning of the Divune Hydro Power Plant. The Prime Minister was received by a guard of honor from members of the police force and PNG Correctional Services. Then the Prime Minister and the provincial entourage travelled from Dirua Airport to Popondetta town, welcomed by excited school children, men and women, who lined the roads throwing flowers and water onto the convoy of vehicles with choruses of their famous greeting, Oro. The Prime Minister's convoy proceeded to the site of the construction of the new Oro Provincial Administration Office Complex. The new office complex will be funded by the government's public investment program, funds at cost of 14 million kina, of which 5 million kina has already been budgeted. After the groundbreaking ceremony, the Prime Minister and the delegation then made their way over to the Independence Oval, where he addressed the people of Oro Province who had been anticipating his official visit for about 3 weeks. It was there that the PM announced about 122 million kina in additional support for the province towards the sealing of roads, provincial and district budgets, and funds for the Northern Provincial Health Authority and the General Hospital.
Work long trip la brothers stop unto me. We like to thank you long all. I give people Oro long patience, people long time to us. That's why people send him government. Long give him government come back and put him the right road. Where people are looking for 1975. Road where all the man and Mary across every part of our country must get equal say at the Mumu pit. You know, one blood does not kiss him come on and some blood stop behind. That's why people mean him take back Papua New Guinea, kiss him the wrong hand. Hand where pull up long greedy person. Hand where pull up long corruption person. Hand where pull up long put him long mosquito as all. You may scale him long up when I Papua New Guinea.
Once the formalities in town were complete, Prime Minister Marape became the country's first Prime Minister to travel the Kokoda Highway to the villages of Waju and Havaki in Sohe LLG, Kokoda District, to launch the Divune Hydro Project. The project is worth 85 million kina, funded in partnership by the Asian Development Bank. The Prime Minister's entourage arrived in Divune at around 4 p.m. in rainy, cold weather. However, people from the surrounding communities and landowners were not deterred by the gloomy weather. Majority walked hours to the site or travelled in by PMV or by hitching rides to wait anxiously for the Prime Minister's address. On arrival, the Prime Minister and other dignitaries were given a tour of the power plant by the operators of the Hydro Project, PNG Power Limited. The project is set to bring to reality the country's push to provide electricity to the rural communities and to start using sustainable green energy.
Today is an important milestone with cheap, reliable power. Life lo man meri lo place where you come up good. Cheap, reliable power. Life lo man meri lo place where come up good. This is a key project in Oro Province and by transforming the economy. Alright, so we make it talk time power comes to us and must improve life for your man made in place. And today, Bami Pani one plan 2 billion kina give him another long. One of the plan to my provincial government and district. From here right all the way down to Oro Bay where you got power. In the man made sleep around about footprint. You try. Suppose district and province combine or supply iron roofing. You can put in power going to the house for you. And you still underneath the light, you publicly grateful and improving life for you, blessed.
At the commissioning, Governor Jufa acknowledged the leaders from the previous government and administration and thanked all who contributed to the fruition of the hydro project. The governor emphasized the importance of inclusion of landowners in major development projects in the province.
When I took office, I made an effort to communicate with my landowners, to listen to them. And as a result, we were able to resolve these issues. Many of these issues were minor issues, but they were valid issues. They were issues that were raised by our landowners, legitimate issues. And as a result, we were able to sort out these issues and the projects progressed. So, landowners, we still have some outstanding issues. We are going to resolve it. We are delivering these projects for you. They are your projects. You deserve them. Protect them, look after them. These are great assets that belong to you. We will find a way so that you can also participate. You can also benefit. You can also create business for yourself and your children. You must think about the future.
The hydro project took 2 years to build and establish. Only 4 months ago, the power plant started supplying Popondetta town with 1.5 megawatts of electricity. Overall, the project has the supply capacity of 3 megawatts. Said to be a major income project for the province, it is estimated that the hydropower project will contribute 10 million kina to the province's internal revenue in the near future. The Divune project will see the building of transmission and service lines to Kokoda station and down to Popondetta town, connecting villages along the road. From Popondetta, supply will also be extended to Girua Airport and to Oro Bay, including the historical Oro Bay port that will be rehabilitated at a total cost of 112 million kina with funding from the Australian Infrastructure Financing Facility for the Pacific. A project that was launched by Australian Deputy Head of Mission, Dr. Joanne Loundes, on the evening of April 6th. When we come back, Oro Bay Wharf, part of infrastructure development for the Northern Province. Australian Deputy Head of Mission, Dr. Joanne Loundes, on the 6th of April, launched the 112 million kina construction of the new Oro Bay Wharf and a combined 51.3 million kina for 2 long-term road projects for the Kokoda and Northern Highways, funded by the Government of Australia. With the funding support of the AIFFP, the port's rehabilitation project will help to support the increase in business activities that will come online when the Kokoda and Musan Nickel project becomes a reality. Australian Deputy Head of Mission, Dr. Joanne Loundes, arrived in Oro Province to launch several vital projects funded by the Australian Government, including the Wharf and 2 road projects for the Kokoda and Northern Highways, under the Transport Sector Support Program covering 163 kilometers from afforestation to the Fala Bailey Bridge at Kokoda. The projects are worth a combined 51.3 million kina and will undertake maintenance, rehabilitation and upgrades along the 2 highways, bringing benefits to local communities and business along PNG's northern corridor. Port is one of 15 ports owned and operated by PNG Ports Corporation Limited. It is run as a community service obligation as it is not profitable but exists to provide an essential service.
Australia is committed to partnering with Papua New Guinea, and we have done for a considerable number of years to help your growth. You know, your success is our success, and this is something that we're very pleased to be able to support. I'm pleased to be here to announce our support, Australia's support for the Oro Bay Port, and that forms part of Australia's 1.4 billion kina investment in port upgrades across Papua New Guinea. Yeah, we're also quite pleased that as part of this redevelopment, there's going to be a local content requirement or a local content aspect to it. We'll be able to use local businesses and local contractors to help with this project, and that's a critical part as well of developing, businesses both within Oro, but also the skill sets required for additional projects further down the line.
With the funding support of the AIFFP, the port rehabilitation project will help to support the increase in business activities that will come online when the Kokoda and Musa Nickel project becomes a reality. PNG-PCL's Kepas Wali thanked the Australian government for awarding PNG-PCL the facility to undertake a number of development. PNG-PCL's Kepas Wali thanked the Australian government for awarding PNG-PCL the facility to undertake a number of development, the 7 ports around the country. He assured that PNG-PCL is committed to deliver the Oro Bay Port project. PNG-PCL's Fego Kiniafas said the Ports Corporation has received from the Government of Australia 1.5 billion kina, which is equivalent to 435 million USD, of which 70 million USD is interest-free grant, which is money never to be repaid. Kiniafa also assured all relevant parties that PNG Ports will put the funding to its best possible use to get the value for money outcomes in building infrastructure that will stand the test of time. Ijivitari MP Richard Maceres said the project was timely.
Because once you have a better wharf, of course, you're able to export proficiently. And I think this is all part and parcel of this expansion. And I'm really glad that it's happening now in Oro Province.
Oro Governor Gary Jufa appealed to PNG-PCL Board Chairman to involve the people of Oro Bay by offering employment opportunities and avenues for entrepreneurship. The governor said the Oro people are peaceful and cooperative.
I find that my people in Oro Bay are a very peaceful, cooperative people. And all they need is you to reach out and engage them in SMEs, in employment, in anything that you need. Feel free to engage them.
The Australian High Commission stated the construction of the new port will include a new wharf, access bridge and container laydown area. The quality port infrastructure will improve access to domestic and international markets for local industries and facilitate connectivity for coastal communities. In her remarks, the Australian Deputy Head of Mission noted that the PNG Australia Comprehensive Strategic and Economic Partnership recognizes that high-quality infrastructure projects are vital for economic growth. The Oro Bay Wharf project completion is expected by 2025. In his remarks in Popondetta town, Prime Minister Marape assured the Oro people that the government has shown its commitment to the people of Oro Province and will continue to do the work that's necessary to build the province into a thriving economic hub. After the break, PNG NRLC embraces new season of Digital Cup as it kicks off on a fairly good start. The PNG National Rugby League competition, the Digital Cup, launched its 2022 season with no new teams or additions to the existing 12 franchises. The 2022 season will have 17 rounds of the regular competition, 4 weeks of semi-finals, including grand final. On the issue of new bids, PNG NRL Board has put a temporary halt to inviting new bids until processes and systems currently under review are in place to make it more transparent and effective, including plans to explore the idea of expanding the competition to neighboring Pacific islands.
Amidst the phase of adversity and lockdown, Rugby League was the first sport to be granted conditional approval to kickstart its premier competition, the Digital Cup, in 2020. For the record, the competition has continuously run games uninterrupted or with minimal stoppages thanks to PNG RFL Chairman Sandy Saka, CEO Stanley Hondina and staff working through major stakeholders and partners to get approval from the National Pandemic Control Office, allowing the competition to resume. 3 years on after the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Digital Cup competition is going full steam ahead with the launch and kick-off of the 2022 season.
Danger time! Danger! Big
and
danger!
Kokoda goes back on the inside. And Kenny Lowe is claiming a throw here.
This year also marks Digicel's 11th year as naming rights sponsor of the competition since 2011. Speaking at this year's launch, Digicel PNG Senior Vice President Lorna McPherson said Digicel has supported the semi-professional league since 2011. McPherson said Digicel PNG supports the development of the people of PNG and remains committed to sponsoring the local sports, talent and our national sport, rugby league, through the PNG NRL. McPherson added that as major sponsors, Digicel is proud to bring live rugby league action through their platforms TVWAN and Look PNG as they recognise the importance of rugby league as a sport that promotes discipline, builds character and encourages good sportsmanship.
Digicel has funded over 20 million in the last 11 years, both in the Digicel Cup but also through our sponsorship of the SP Hunters and the other grassroots games that we sponsor as well. And that's a lot of investment. And why? Because we actually care. We care about the national sport, but we really genuinely care about Papua New Guinea. We are proud to also bring live rugby league and coverage as entertainment across the country through our media platforms TVWAN, Action and also Look PNG. And as major sponsors of the Digicel Cup, we recognise the importance of rugby league as a sport because why? It promotes discipline, it builds character and it encourages good sportsmanship on that field. And if we all look back to the last sort of 10, 11 years as we've been sponsors and the development of the game, every single year we just get better and better. We look at now the involvement and the technology that we've put into the game as well, where you can see and people can actually view referees' decisions as an example as well. And it's so important that we invest in technology, but we also invest in our referees and we invest in all the coaches as well to lift the game.
On behalf of PNG NRLC Board, Chairman Adrian Chow said the Digicel Cup competition was the vital link between the measures of players in schools and local leagues and the high performance levels of the Hunters, Kumuls and the Orchids. Chow also thanked Digicel PNG for entering its 11th year as naming rights sponsor of the national competition and stated that PNG NRLC management would be working closely with Digicel to deliver entertaining rugby league on field and on screen. PNG NRL competition manager Ora Gairo also shared the same sentiment.
It's a critical year in which the game is played, managing around COVID, also managing around the elections. We have around 10 and 11 where it's the date for the polling as well. So we are hearing from the media that the polling dates may be moved again. So we're trying to work, working with Stanley and the team behind the scenes to ensure the games are run around the polling time. So we have a 2 weeks break, whichever time it is. We have a 2 weeks break for all players and officials to also cast their votes in their respective electorates.
After 2 months of train and trial pre-season uninterrupted, under the nuclear passing measures, the 12 existing franchises are ready to hit the ground running as the 2022 season unfolds. At the back of a rigorous pre-season training, Port Moresby Vipers, Galfiso, Central Dabaris, Hello Wigman, Late Tigers, Mendi Muruks, Angamioks, Wagi Tumbe, Hagen Eagles, Goroka Hanis, Rabaul Gurias and Kimber Cutters are ready. The 2022 season will have 17 rounds of regular competition, 4 weeks of semi-finals, including grand final. On the issue of new bids in 2021, the PNG NRLC board has put a temporary halt to inviting new bids until the COVID-19 pandemic is under control. That also gave the board leeway to review current processes and systems to make it more relevant and effective, including plans to explore the idea of expanding the competition to neighboring Pacific islands. It was decided at the late PNG RFL AGM on the 26th of March that new bids for 2023 will start in June, with the possibility of increasing the number of teams to 14. However, that will depend on further endorsement from the board.
We have a strategic plan that has been done up right now with OSAID So upon completion of the report, maybe before June, July this year, we should have a strategic plan in place, and we should know which team to allow back into the comp, or whether the size of the comp is increased or is decreased, or whether we have a different comp beyond Diesel Cup. So we have a relegation and sort of a system that is in place. So that's what the strategic plan will shape and will form for the game going forward. So those questions about bids, they'll wait until we have that plan and the framework in place, and then we'll know how many teams are required for which provinces, which regions, and then that should be announced later on, hopefully before mid-year.
In 2021, PNG NRLC board received 5 independent bids, which included Civic Pride, Motu Koita Lagatoys, and Simbu Agras, formerly Warriors, but bids were unsuccessful. Out of the 3 bidders, EMK Civic Pride, given their proactive approach, have secured naming rights sponsor and a strong board in place to begin the process, which included the first trial match against the Gurias last month in Kokopo. They have also secured the services of a number of seasoned, experienced players that will set the foundation for young talents to support their bid for 2023. Meanwhile, PNG National Rugby League competition has continued to embrace and recognize the need for improving the standard of refereeing of the game in domestic competition. Concerns have also been raised on the standard and behavior or game techniques being used by players in the National Rugby League competition, which the Match Review Committee has been tasked to work on this year. While the standard of the game continues to grow, capacity building becomes crucial to upskill and educate referees on the new rules and game software or technologies. PNG NRLC Competition Officer Saku Ang, when giving a brief overview on the roles and responsibility of the committee, said over the past 2 seasons there's been a marked improvement on the number of incidences on the field of play and player suspensions.
Last year and before last year, it was a bit of shorter season. And then in terms of capacity and the technology that we have to incorporate every year, rugby league in Papua New Guinea in terms of systems and capacity-wise, we are some few packs we need to improve. That's why, like the bunker and other technologies that we incorporate, it's a working process. Every year we need to improve. So for the last 2 years, because of the disruption with the COVID-19 and stuff, we have a shorter season of 15 weeks. So we haven't had any much incidents or issues. Going forward now, we have incorporated a My Sideline, NRL database My Sideline, which was tried last year, and this year it will be fully fledged. So any incident or stuff, we'll enter it on the My Sideline. So it will flag up when the team sheet is entered. The system software itself will flag out who is to play and who will not be playing. So with that, we will now enter all the match review decisions in the My Sideline. So according to the players, and if a player is put on a team list and we enter on the software, if he has some suspension to be carried forward to, the system itself rejects the team.
On behalf of PNG RFL Board CEO Stanley Ondina, also thanked Digicel for its valuable contribution in terms of investment in the game and their long-term commitment as naming rights sponsors.
This is the important mix in the tier, and journalists who have been following rugby league will be tired of hearing this. It is the step or the bridge between our amateur football to professional football. When you go Hunters Kumuls, they go into professional mode. Hunters 6 months away from home, based in Brisbane. That's professional space. But to get there from our amateur sport in the bigger numbers of schools and affiliates and leagues, Digital Cup plays a very important role in the mix that graduates and move it through. So Ronan and your company, thank you for the support that you've put on. It's an exciting year this year and we are looking forward to it. There may be 1 or 2 talented outstanding in the Digital Cup. The pathway is still there. The Hunters, with flights opening up and bit of movement happening, we're optimistic to get a few Digital Cup boys into Hunters back end of the year.
and the pathway always forward to the Commonwealth as well, to the World Cup this year. So we are happy with what's happening, and we're looking forward to a good season 2022. On behalf of PNG RFL board chairman Sandis and the board, we commend Digicel, SP, other partners and sponsors, as well as we wish all the 12 teams the best of luck. We always say this, play hard, play strong, but play fair, and may the best team win at the end of the season. But we wish them well. They've prepared well, and we're looking forward to it. Out to our public and the rugby league, as we always say, rugby league is a sport. It's more than just playing football. It's about communities. It's about what we do in that space, graduating good young men and women to become good citizens of this nation. That's our contribution to nation building. And we keep on saying this every time. So we appeal to the public to come and support the game. COVID protocols will be followed and observed. And let's see this 2022 season. It cannot happen without every one of us buying into it.
And that ends Scope this evening. A kind reminder to apply simple measures to prevent the transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water. Cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thank you for your company. Bye for now.